It's board game vibe time yet again, and this time we have in front of us the remnants of the completed game of Pan Am. Now, I like Pan Am, and I'm going to chat about it, but it does have its swingy, random aspects, but in a good way. I think some people don't like it because of that, but I think it's necessary. Too many stale, clean, no luck games around. One thing with Pan Am and these type of games, I guess, is you see routes on a map and you immediately think of Ticket a Ride. Well, it's not like Ticket a Ride, it's much different. So I won't go through the rules because there are much better videos online and we're only just looking at the vibe. But essentially when you play, it's not worker placement, but engineer placement. And it's an interesting game in terms of the routes aren't permanent. Essentially, all the players, I guess, are tiny airline owners wishing to sell routes to this monolith called Pan Am as it's a greed monster, eats up all the routes. The routes for the base game start from Miami and spread out in 3 different directions. And they spread out at a different rate based on the role of the die itself, which is an interesting element. So that's one random element. So you can never predict which routes are going to be taken or whether it happens to be the Pan Am where you can sell any route. The next variable is the round cards, which there are 7 rounds and there are 4 cards for each particular round. So you choose randomly one of those 4 cards for each of the round cards. So there's a variable element again. I've played 3 games now, and for example, the stock market price down the bottom left there has varied every time. First game it went low to up, second game it sort of started low and stayed low, then went high, and then this one sort of did the same. And the dice rolls, which is the greed monster's turn to roll as well, influence the game. This one we got particular cards where there are a lot of rolls, so we've managed to sell a lot of routes, which is not necessarily the case. You go through things about buying airports and destinations and planes and routes, etc. One thing definitely is the directives card. I guess in some games this tends to be, this is the spot where you don't get what you want, but the directives cards I think are quite critical in getting your win. There's a lot of improvements or things that these cards provide in relation to making it better. They unfortunately also provide these cards which are buy one stock at the end for no cost at free, which does seem like a bit of a change. It's a big call given it's so hard to actually get stock, or I found get stock, but I guess we all have access to the cards and they're the rules. And I think that's it. There are randomizing elements in the game, but I think that's good. We're almost like passengers on a small light plane being buffeted by the wind, and how best do we cope with the changes in direction? So that's Pan Am. The card quality itself, I can appreciate that they've done this at a slightly cheaper cost to make it more available. You will need to sleeve the cards because I found they cut up. Unfortunately, with the card sleeving, they're not a standard size, and I'm not really that great with scissors, but they're workable. But and in terms of the money tokens themselves, I never found there's enough 5s in the game. Certainly with one of the round 7 cards, you'll need more. I've added some poker chips into the box to provide that, because it's not fun grabbing a piece of paper and having to write scores on that. That sort of breaks the theme of a game for me. But that's Pan Am. 2020, recent release, one of the few I've got, I think, but we've enjoyed it both as a gaming group, and the family have joined as well. So yeah, recommend it.